All right, what is going on, guys? Here to talk about the NBA slate on Tuesday, and really hoping for a better slate than we got last night. Just one of the most tilting slates ever last night, to be honest, and such a low-scoring night again. Like back-to-back nights were like, I think in the GPP I was in like 270 or like 280 won it. It was just a low-scoring night. Bunch of just stuff that I don't want to talk about. So let's focus on this slate. Again, if you guys are new to the live stream, new to the channel, how it works is we'll take a look at what we know so far. We will review the Vegas odds, and then we can go team by team and talk about the players I'm interested in, and then get to questions at the end. So let's refresh Fantasy Labs. I should probably go back to the beginning of the day. There is a lot to go over here. There's still a decent amount up in the air. So we'll just have to keep an eye on news. But let's scroll back to, let's see, where are we at? Yeah, again, Nurkic gets injured. Just like every day it's something. Every day it's something for me, at least. All right. Let's see. Kyrie is not available. Some of the stuff for Wednesday. Ben Simmons and Embiid are in. Colin Sexton and Garland are out, and Drummond is questionable. That's pretty big news. If Drummond is out, then that opens up some stuff there for the Cavs. Let's see. Scrolling down a bit more here. And some of the stuff for Wednesday. Wall and Gordon are questionable. Olynyk is available. Gabe Vincent's available. Myers Leonard just got ruled out. So they have 8 available players. The Heat have 8 available players. I have a hard time getting away from the Heat on this slate. I know the matchup's maybe not the best, but the 76ers are also missing a good amount of pieces. And it's like all these guys are going to play some big minutes. So, yeah, Heat are definitely where I want a good amount of exposure on this slate. TJ McConnell out. And I think that is basically it for what we got so far. Randle killed me. I mean, under 30 minutes for Julius Randle in a competitive game. Can we just talk about, like, how on earth that happened? How on earth Julius Randle, who in Tom Thibodeau's offense plays 42 to 44 minutes in competitive games. I get on him in a fantastic matchup. He plays under 30 minutes, no foul trouble. Like, how was that possible? Honestly, how was that possible that he played under 30 minutes? Just blows my mind. It's always something that gets me every day. We have injuries. We just have BS, like surprising lost 15 minutes for players, right? Randall, I was expecting, low 40s minutes. He gets under 30. Just, one of those days that it's just, man, NBA DFS has been super tilting this year to start. But, all right, let's take a look at these odds. We have Heat and we have 76ers at 213 over under. 76ers are 9-point favorites in this one. Obviously, some blowout risk here. Nuggets and Nets at 230.5 over under. The Nets are 1-point favorites. With Jazz, we have Cavs at 208 over under. The Jazz are 12.5 point favorites. Lakers and Rockets at 223 over under. The Lakers are 5-point favorites. Spurs and Thunder, it's a 218.5 over under. The Spurs are 2.5 point favorites. And Pacers, Warriors, late night hammer here, 227.5 over under. The Warriors are 3-point favorites. So let's start with the big game of the night here for DFS wise, and that's Miami and Philly. So yeah, Miami has 8 active players. Hero, Olynyk, Robinson, Iguodala, Precious Achiuwa, Gabe Vincent, Chris Silva, Max Strus. I like them all. I think you want to load up on the Heat tonight. If you think the game stays close, then Hero, Olynyk. Those are probably the 2 guys going to have the big games if Miami's going to keep this game competitive. If you think the game blows out, then guys you want to look to. Precious Achiuwa, Gabe Vincent, Chris Silva, Max Strus, right? Same exact situation as Philly last night. Philly, if the game was going to stay competitive, it was going to be Maxey, Embiid, and Danny Green. The game did not stay competitive. Those guys all got pulled. The end of the bench guys got the blowout run. So it's just a matter of how you want to approach this slate, right? If you think Miami gets blown out, then you want to target these guys. Gabe Vincent, Chris Silva, Max Strus, Precious Achiuwa. Those are the guys you want to look to. They will play in the garbage time. The guys that I think will not play in the garbage time for sure, Andre Iguodala and Kelly Olynyk. Those 2 I think get pulled for sure. And then one of Hero and Duncan Robinson. They're both young guys, so one of them will play in the garbage time. I'm not sure which one it would be. So you would just have to guess there. But yeah, I think there's a chance Hero plays in garbage time. But really, again, this is a team you want to load up on, that being Miami. So love Hero and Kelly Olynyk. Those are the two they're going to have big games if Miami's going to stay competitive. Duncan Robinson, you can throw him in the mix. He'll play huge minutes. I'm fine with Iguodala. My concern with Iguodala is he will be the first one that gets pulled. The first one that gets pulled if this game gets somewhat out of hand. I don't think he plays a ton of minutes no matter what. I would expect like 25-ish minutes from Andre Iguodala, but at 3-3 with all these guys out, I think he's firmly in play. And then the young guys, right? Achua, Gabe Vincent, Silva, Max Strus. I like them all. I think all will get some good run. We'll see what they do with the starting lineup. We're still waiting on that Miami starting lineup. I'm not huge against whoever starts at center because then they're going to have to guard Joel Embiid and there's some foul trouble risk. But yeah, Miami's a team you want exposure to for sure. I like them all on this slate. Let's move on to Philly. So Philly, Embiid, Ben Simmons, a little bit more healthy now with Ben Simmons available. Embiid at the top, firmly in play. Should be able to have his way with whoever Miami throws on him, whether it be Olynyk or Achua or Chris Silva. Joel Embiid should be able to feast. And he was feasting last night in only 23 minutes, had 41 fantasy points. If that game stays close, Embiid goes for 60 plus easily. So that was, again, very tilting, because Embiid was on pace to absolutely smash. And he is in a really good spot here once again with all his Miami guys being out. Don't mind Ben Simmons. Prefer the upside in Joel Embiid. I think Maxey is still viable here at 5'5". I still think he plays some big minutes. I think he looks decent. Danny... 4 of 17 and 0 of 9 shooting for Danny Green. Isaiah Joe, Dakota Mathias. These are two guys that should get some decent minutes still. If you think the game blows out, you maybe want to look to those two guys. But that's really it for me for the Philly side. So let's move on to Denver and Brooklyn. Denver, Jokic at the top, and then looks like a good option if you can get to him. There's enough value you can jam him in there. Now, is he a priority? Maybe not a priority, but a good GPP play. Right? I think there's probably better spend-ups, maybe with like Sabonis and Brogdon with no Oladipo. Maybe a guy Kevin Durant, who's still priced under 10K. But Jokic in a fantastic spot here. Should play mid-30s minutes in a competitive game. Really do like Nikola Jokic there at the top if you can get to him. Murray's an interesting GPP play. The floor is really low with him, right? Really low with the guy with Jamal Murray, but perfectly fine with him in GPPs. Yeah, Barton's fine. Gary Harris is questionable. If he's out, could make a guy like PJ Dozier a little bit viable. Maybe Monte Morris. So, yeah, those guys would look a little bit better if Gary Harris is out. So that's something to keep an eye on for sure. But let's move on to Brooklyn. So Brooklyn, Kevin Durant, Caris LeVert, I think look really good at the top. I think KD is going to be really popular here. I mean, he's just underpriced. 9.4K is just too cheap for Kevin Durant. He's going to play high 30s minutes. He looks like one of the best plays in the slate for sure. As long as this game stays competitive and no foul trouble, Kevin Durant should get you there. Also have interest in Caris LeVert. He's going to go way lower owned than Kevin Durant. And if you want to get contrarian in GPPs, you can play LeVert over Kevin Durant. You can honestly play them both if you want to. But if I'm playing both LeVert and Kevin Durant, then I'm just going to go full game stack, right? So if I'm playing both these guys, this is talking roster construction for GPPs, right? If I'm playing both Kevin Durant and Caris LeVert, then what I want to do is simply just run it back with Jokic and then go value from there. So that's what I would do in GPPs if I'm playing both those Brooklyn guys. But yeah, LeVert, Kevin Durant, they both look really good. The rest of the guys are just stay away from me. Jarrett Allen, minutes are going up on him. Don't think we have to go there in the slate. Joe Harris, I'll pass. The value, there's better value with the Heat. So just don't think we have to do it. So on to Utah, Cleveland. Utah's a team I have no interest in. It's a good matchup. You can go to Mitchell. You can go to Gobert. Are you going to prioritize Rudy Gobert over Kevin Durant in the slate? Are you going to prioritize Rudy Gobert over Domantas Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon in a fantastic matchup with no Victor Oladipo? Are you going to prioritize these Utah guys over Steph Curry, who has insane upside? The answer should be no. So unless you want to get really different in GPPs, I'm just avoiding Utah. Balanced team. I like the matchup, but I'm just not getting to anyone. Let's move on to Cleveland. Cleveland, the huge news is Andre Drummond. I'm hoping we get this news soon because if Andre Drummond is out, that changes the entire slate. Then JaVale McGee, assuming he starts, becomes one of the best values in the slate. Because JaVale McGee is a fantastic point per minute guy. And if we can expect 25 to 30 minutes out of JaVale McGee, I don't care that the matchup's not good. He would be one of the best plays in the slate, assuming he can stay out of foul trouble. That is assuming, because JaVale McGee is like Andre Drummond. very foul prone. So that would still be a risk. But yeah, McGee would be a really, really good play if he starts. Would also make guys like Larry Nance, C.D. Osman a lot more viable. There's still no Garland, Sexton, so Damian Dotson should play huge minutes. I think he's a decent play. And then we have Yogi Ferrell, who I actually think, is an interesting contrarian punt. A pivot off some of those Miami Heat chalk plays. If Drummond is out, Ferrell might push for over 20 minutes. So, but that's just trying to get pretty contrarian. And if Andre Drummond is out, I think it would be Thon Maker that backs up McGee. I mean, they could go Dean Wade, but Dean Wade is just very, very low usage guy. I would rather take a shot on Thon Maker and hope he gets some minutes. Again, that's like talking more GPPs. But yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on that. If Drummond does play, I think he makes for a good GPP play. The minutes have been huge on him, 37, 41, and 35. So he's just getting huge minutes. He fouled out in the last game too. So, yeah, Drummond would be a guy that, if he does play, I would like for GPPs. All right. Let's see. I'm going to probably close this so I don't spill on my computer. That would be a good idea. All right, Lakers and Houston. So I like the matchup here for the Lakers, guys. We'll just keep an eye on news. I assume both LeBron and AD play. If they do both play, they're fine options, but not priorities to me. I love the matchup for them, but they're just not playing big minutes, even competitive games. Like AD and LeBron are playing 32 to 34 minutes. They're not playing the 38 to 39 they were last year. So that just hurts their upside. Also, Schroeder and Harrell are high usage guys in this offense. So right now, Lakers guys are just secondary plays. Now, if they're one or both are out, then we look to Schroeder, Harrell, and Kuzma. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. THT at 3.6 is an okay value play, but hard for me to prioritize him over some of those Miami guys. And that's it for the Lakers. Let's move on to Houston. Wall, Eric Gordon, still questionable. If they're both out, then Christian Wood and Harden are good GPP plays. If I'm playing either AD or LeBron, I would run it back with either Harden or Christian Wood, because that's the only way they're going to stay in this game if both Wall and Eric Gordon are out, or James Harden and Christian Wood. Value-wise, if they're both out, we could consider McLemore, Tate, Nwaba, and Sterling Brown. They would all be fine plays for value, but no one would really stick out there. San Antonio and OKC. So San Antonio is definitely a team that is interesting here. No DeRozan, no Derek White. It's a good spot. DeJounte Murray, Aldridge, Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, I think all look good. At least one or two of those guys will have good games, but they're just up and down. The DeJounte Murray is the GPP play, right? He has 50-plus fantasy point upside. He also has a low floor, even in a good spot. So, like, Murray, a good GPP play. Aldridge, I would say, I guess, more the cash play, just because the minutes, right? He played 37 minutes that last game. Even that game did not go to overtime. So if Aldridge is going to play high 30s minutes, then I think he's more of your, like, cash play. And Keldon Johnson, very up and down as well, but does have the upsides. Like all these Spurs guys, Lonnie Walker too, I think at least one or two of these guys will have a big game if it stays competitive, but hard to try to nail down which one it's going to be. But again, I do like the upside in all of them. Patty Mills is fine at 5-1. Rudy Gay, the minutes are down on him. Lyles at 3-3 did play 35 minutes the last game. I think he would be an okay punt if he starts again, but Vassell is available at 3-2, so could hurt Lyles' minutes. And that's really it for the Spurs. So let's finish up, or let's move on to the Thunder. SGA makes for an interesting GPP play at 8K. He's had 50-plus the last 3 games, so I like him for GPPs. He will be lower owned because there's Kevin Durant on the slate, because there's the Indiana studs, because Steph Curry's on the slate, because Embiid's on the slate. But SGA has a good amount of upside, so I like him for GPPs. I think you can definitely stack this game. You could go SGA plus a couple of Spurs and then run it back with maybe one more stud and then value. Like, I like that for GPPs too, right? This game is just going to go under-owned because this slate is setting up for stars and scrubs. But you could realistically do something like this. Like, again, if you're shooting for the upside, I think it's DeJounte Murray. Maybe Aldridge is your safe play. And then get to like one more stud, whether it be KD or one of those Pacers stars, and then go Miami value. Like, that's realistically a nice way to build a GPP lineup too. I like the upside in that game. Finally, Pacers and Golden State. So this game looks pretty appealing stacking-wise, especially if Oladipo's out. Sabonis and Brogdon. Yep, I got my Sabonis shirt on today, guys. Don't worry. Sabonis at 9-3. I mean, he's just so consistent. Love the matchup for him. I don't care if Draymond Green is out there defending him. Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon look really good at the top if Oladipo's out, because that's where the offense is going to run through. It's a great matchup against Golden State. So love Sabonis, love Brogdon in a great spot. Turner's fine at 6'2", but wouldn't be a priority for me. If Oladipo's out, we can consider guys like Holiday, McDermott, Aaron Holiday, Edmund Sumner. So that's just something we'll have to keep an eye on. And finally, Golden State. Steph Curry makes a really, really good GPP play. Right? The ceiling is 70-plus for Steph Curry. But also the floor is like below 30 if he's not hitting his shots. He's not hit his shots in 2 of the last 4 games and has gone under 30. So he's a really good GPP play because floor is low, but ceiling is high on Steph Curry. Wiggins, you guys know I don't play him. Draymond Green's a fine play in the mid-range, should play over 30 minutes. I think he's a safe play in both formats. Kelly Oubre, I'll pass on. Bazemore, you could make an argument to play him because he's got about 20 minutes. But that's really it there for Golden State. So that's it for what I got, guys. Let's refresh Fantasy Labs one more time, and then we can get to some questions. Andre Drummond game time decision. That's not the news I wanted. Can we just get that news, please? Because I have a lot of Heat exposure, and I want to know if Drummond is out. Because if Drummond is out, I want to play JaVale McGee if he starts. But this game starts at 6. This game starts at 6:30. I really need that Andre Drummond news before 6. All right, guys, let's get some questions. We are almost at 400 viewers. We're at 40 likes. Can we get to 100 likes? I'll stay on for about 15 minutes to answer some questions. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Maxey still in play. Maxey is still in play. Not as good of a play with Ben Simmons playing, but I still think he's viable. Still think he has upside. Sabonis or Durant? That's a really tough one. I like them both a lot. I'll go Durant if I had to pick, but I like those guys a lot. Okoro, Iggy, or Sumner? Iguodala. Yep. We'll go through one of us before Cavs. Okay. Sabonis or Brogdon? I think that's a coin flip. Whatever works better in your lineup. I love them both. So Sabonis or Durant? Again, I think the upside might be a little bit higher on Durant, but I do love both. Hero, Dotson, LeVert, Green, Sabonis, Maxey, Olynyk, Aldridge. I think it's an interesting GPP lineup. You're fading all the Heat value. You're only playing Hero and Olynyk, which I think honestly is a little bit risky. I think at least a couple of those like 3K guys will absolutely smash their salaries. Embiid or Jokic? Tough one. Depends on, do you think Miami keeps the game close? Right? There's more blowout risk with Embiid. So safer options probably Jokic. But if Miami can keep it close, Embiid should smash. Who are your favorites out of the Miami guys? I like them all. If you think the game stays close, Hero and Olynyk. If you think the game blows out, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Chris Silva, Precious Achiuwa. Those are the guys you want to look to. Either way, even if the game stays close, like those guys on the bench are going to have to play some minutes. Thoughts on Jamal Murray? Interesting GPP play. Will be very, very low on tonight. 3,800 small forward will be Iguodala for me. Silva, let's see. Silva or Precious? I'm worried about foul trouble for both of them. They're both good point per minute guys. So, I think Precious will probably be higher owned, assuming he starts. But Silva's a really good point per minute guy. So, like, I like them both a lot. Just depends what happens here. Again, I think Precious will be higher owned, but I don't have a super strong take there. Do you think Drummond will play? I think it's 50-50. Best value in Miami, Philly for us FanDuel viewers. I don't know what the FanDuel pricing looks like, but again, those guys that, I think Gabe Vincent, I think Precious Achiuwa, those two look really good. Also, again, Strus, viable. Chris Silva, viable because he's a good point per minute guy. How many Heat in single entry GPP? Depends. I think anywhere from, I would play at least 3 Heat tonight. So 3 to 5, I'd say. What's value on the Heat? Are you less interested? It depends on how you think the game flows. So if you think the game blows out, Iguodala is the guy I do not want because he's the first one that's going to get pulled. First one will get pulled will be Iguodala. If you think the game stays close, Iguodala is certainly viable. So it just all depends on how you think the game goes, right? Hero and Olynyk are going to be the reason that the Heat stay in this game if they do. So if you think the game stays competitive, I think you want to target Heat and Hero and Olynyk. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely a good chance Miami gets blown out. Shea or Brogdon? That's a tough one. I think Brogdon, but it's really close. Sabonis, KD, Hero core? Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm hoping Drummond is out. LOL. I am as well. We'll see, right? Because right now I'm hoping he isn't out because I don't have McGee in. But I'm probably going to play McGee if Drummond is out and McGee starts. SGA or Brogdon? Yeah, that's a really close one. I'll go Brogdon. Assuming Victor Oladipo is out, I'll go Brogdon. So, yeah. Bickerstaff said the game plan is to attack, get Gobert in foul trouble. Yeah, Utah guys are just, Best value outside of the Heat 76ers game? Depends on injury news. I would say JaVale McGee if Andre Drummond is out. That would be the best value, I think. And that's assuming McGee starts. Precious, Gabe Vincent, Max Strauss, Chris Silva. I like them all. Really. Like, all of them are going to play. Murray and Aldridge in the same lineup, okay? Yeah, I think you can do it. Which means Duncan Robinson's a good shooter, so I would not be surprised if he crushes. Should I play the Miami values over Lyles? I think I would. With Vassell healthy, I think the minutes go down on Lyles. I mean, I still think Lyles is fine. Maybe like a late slate value play. But the Heat are going to have an 8-man rotation. So everyone's going to play, and everyone's going to play some decent minutes. I don't think Aldridge is a must play. No, if you feel like he disappoints, I mean, he just played 37 minutes last night. That's why I think he's decent. Yeah, Jamal's a good GPP play. Shea or Brogdon, again, that's close. Brogdon, really close. You like Simmons' projection? I think Ben Simmons is fine and would prefer the upside in Embiid, but yeah, I'm okay with it. He's going to be low-owned. Murray, Hero, Johnson, Durant, Jokic, Vincent, Achua, Lyles. I think it's contrarian. It's a contrarian lineup. Small forward? Small forward's pretty weak. So you have, like, obviously Ben Simmons at the top. I do like LeVert. LeVert's going to be really low-owned, but if he continues to start a point guard, he has a good amount of upside, even with KD playing. You know, a guy like Osman would become a lot more viable if Drummond is out. Lonnie Walker is still in play because the Spurs are shorthanded. And then, like, value-wise, again, you have, like, McDermott. If Oladipo's out, he is scoring dependent, but he should get some good minutes. I think he looks decent. Dozier, if, like, Gary Harris is out. And then you have, Iguodala down here at 3.3K. But Iguodala, again, just be cautious with him because he'll be the first one that gets pulled. But Iguodala should play mid-20s minutes, I would say, at least. Keldon Johnson or Duncan Robinson. So I think the upside is higher in Keldon Johnson because he just does more. Duncan's pretty reliant in the scoring. So Isaiah Joe in play, more contrarian just because Ben Simmons now there too. So like Ben Simmons, Embiid, Maxey, and Danny Green, if the game stays close, those guys should play 30-plus minutes. So there's less minutes for guys like Joe, Matthias, right? Those guys should play less. But if you think the game blows out, they're more viable. Hard for me to prioritize Gobert over Durant, over Steph, over the Pacers, Stars, over Jokic. Hard for me to do that. McDermott's viable, yeah. Are you chasing with McDermott? Just be careful with him because the floor is low. He is scoring dependent. I do like the matchup, but be careful. He has a floor of like 10 to 15 fantasy points if he's not hitting his shots. So there's some risk there. Guys, almost 400 viewers, 66 likes. Can we please get to 100? That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Best value from the Philly bench. It depends on their starting lineup, right? But we're still waiting on their starting lineup. So like Joe or Matthias, those are probably guys to look to. SGA, Hero, Lonnie, KD, Draymond, Dotson, Olynyk, Isaiah Joe. It's risky. But I think it's okay. Is Joe Harris a play? I don't think we have to do it, right? I don't think it makes sense to play. If I'm playing someone in the mid-range, it's going to be Hero, it's going to be Olynyk, or it's going to be some of those Spurs, right? Because those are the upside plays. The Spurs guys, Olynyk, Hero. Other than that, I don't see a reason to play someone in the mid-range. It's a stars and scrubs night. With all the value on the slate with the Heat, hard to get away from that. Heat cash plays, yeah, so it depends on how you think the game goes. But Hero's going to be really popular, Olynyk's going to be really popular, and then all the value plays. I like them all. Nance would get a boost. Nance and Osman would become more viable if Drummond is out. McGee would be the first one for me, but those guys would become THT only if one of AD or LeBron are out. Only if one of those guys are out. JaMychal Green or Iguodala. So I would rather have Iguodala. I think the upside is a little bit higher on him with all the Heat out. But again, there is some risk with the blowout. Oubre, I just don't think we have to go there. Yes. I think running KD and Jokic together makes a lot of sense for GPPs. Yeah. Baisley, just up and down. He's a fine punt. Osman would become viable if Drummond is out. Bazemore, again, okay, but I think I'd prioritize the other value on the slate. Like, I would rather have the Heat value. I'd rather have McGee if Drummond is out. Keldon Johnson or Duncan Robinson, Keldon. It's close. But I think Keldon is a guy that maybe he just does more, right? He does more than scoring. But Duncan's going to play big minutes. He's also a really good shooter, so it's a tough one there. he only played 10 minutes. He's a little banged up. I'm a little bit worried about Vassell. I don't know if I do that. SGA, Hero, Lonnie, KD, Draymond. Yep, I think I went over that. Lonnie Walker, Duncan. Again, it's close with Duncan Robinson for me because where's Duncan? He's 4'8". He's going to play big minutes. But he's still reliant on the scoring. So, like, I don't know if, like, Duncan Robinson's all of a sudden going to, like, take over and run pick and rolls and, like, drive to the hole, right? I don't think his role changes a whole lot. He's still going to be, like, the sharpshooter. Whereas, like, Hero and Olynyk are obviously going to have to do it all offensively. So, like, it's a tough one here because if Duncan's getting his shots going, he can go for 40+ if he's hitting his threes. And he's going to play the big minutes. Pivot LeVert for KD for Price. I think pivoting to LeVert is a good option in GPPs. We know Kevin Durant is going to be popular tonight, so I don't mind that pivot. I have Curry, Hero, Iguodala, Durant, Sabonis, Vincent, Precious, Kelly. No, I think that's perfectly fine. Dotson or Duncan Robinson? Depends on Drummond news. If Drummond is out, I still love the matchup for Dotson, but might prefer him if Drummond is out. Hero, KD, Brogdon. Yeah, I like that a lot. SGA, Hero, Lonnie, KD. Yep, I went over that. Durant, Curry, and Drummond. So for cash games, it's Drummond. Or okay, for cash games, it's Durant, then Curry, I guess, then Drummond. For GPPs, it's Durant still like the best, then Curry, then Drummond. Yeah, see, like those Houston guys would become okay, like Jayshawn Tate and Sterling Brown and Nwaba and Ben McLemore, but I would probably rather have the Heat guys. Patty Mills or Dotson, depends on Drummond news. I would say Dotson if Drummond's out. Hero or Murray, Hero. SGA, Patty, Holiday, Olynyk, Horford, Robinson, Aldridge, and Sabonis. It's a bit contrarian. I'm assuming that's Justin Holiday. Don't love him at that price. Dwight Howard, I wouldn't play Dwight. LeVert, Wiggins, Maxey, Barton, Nance, Keldon. Yeah, it's pretty contrarian. Again, don't love the balance approach. Like I just don't see a reason to play Jared Allen tonight. I don't really see a reason to play Wiggins or Barton. I just don't think it makes sense. Right? The mid-range guys I want to play are Hero, Olynyk, or the Spurs guys, because those are the guys that have the upside. Other than that, it's a stars and scrubs night. So, like, get to Jokic, get to KD, get to Embiid, get to Steph, get to the Indiana guys, and then go value with McGee if Drummond is out and the Miami value. That's what you want to do. Thoughts of, yeah, PJ Dozier would be okay, but still hard to prioritize him over the other value. All right, guys, couple more questions here. Yeah, core save for the Patreon guys. Lyles or Precious. So I'll go Precious right now. Gary Harris or Green? I'm guessing that's Draymond Green. I would rather, or Danny Green. I don't want to play either. They're both reliant on the scoring. They're both priced up. I don't think we play either. The Heat is the Heat. Yeah, again, guys, it's all about how you're attacking the slate, right? So, like, if you think the game blows out, you want to target the Heat value more. Like, I think there's a chance Hero's going to play big minutes either way, but he might not close if the game blows out, right? I think Kelly-O and Iguodala would be the first guys off the court if the game blows out, and then one of Hero or Duncan Robinson, because they only have 8, so they can only sit 3 if the game blows out. LeVert or SGA for cash? That's a really good question. For cash, it might be SGA, but I do like LeVert as a pivot off KD and GPPs. Best forward under 6K. All right, guys, I'll stay on for another minute or two, and then I got to get out of here. Best forward under 6K. See, I don't think we have to be in this range. I would say Draymond Green, but I don't love the mid-range tonight. Lonnie or Keldon? I think Keldon, but it's just hard to say because the Spurs, those guys are just up and down. Lonnie, Keldon, DeJounte Murray, Aldridge, all have pretty low floors. At least one or two of those guys have big games, but it's hard for me to try to nail down which one's going to be, right? It was Lonnie and Aldridge last game. It was Keldon and Murray 2 games ago. So, KD or Sabonis. So, I think KD is slightly safer, but love them both. Iggy or McDermott. So, I think right now it's Iguodala, but if Oladipo gets ruled out, McDermott becomes a lot more viable. There's just no way. There's no way I'm playing Maldion tonight. Dotson or Clarkson. Depends. I would say Dotson probably either way. I would say Dotson either way is going to play big minutes, especially if Drummond is out, though. Robinson or Isaiah Joe, I'd rather have Duncan Robinson. Brogdon, Hero, Iggy, KD. Yeah, I like that. KD or Sabonis. I think, again, KD, but it's close. I love them both. Duncan Robinson under 26 on Prize Picks? It just, I don't have a strong take there because it's just a matter of does he hit his shots, right? Like, I can't tell you if Duncan Robinson's going to hit his threes tonight. So yeah. The minutes will be there. The shot attempts will be there. It's just a matter of does he hit his shots. Lonnie Walker or no. Again, the Spurs guys are all in play, like I said. But with Lonnie, with Murray, with Aldridge, with Keldon Johnson, at least one of those guys will have a huge game. But like I said, trying to nail down which one's going to be is more difficult. So appreciate the info, love your content. Thank you, man. Favorite utility for 6,200 or less. Again, I don't love this range. Probably Keldon Johnson for me. Keldon, or you go down to, Kelly Olynyk or Maxey. But yeah, Keldon, it's just Keldon. You got to know what you're getting into with Keldon Johnson. He has the upside, but the floor is pretty low. John Wall on track to play. Okay, I was kind of hoping that he would play because I didn't really want to play Harden tonight. No, if Gary Harris is out, then PJ Dozier or Monte Morris should play more. Yeah, Dotson's in play with both guards out. He should play big minutes, should run the point a decent amount. And if Drummond is out, he looks like a solid play. Okay. Hero, Gabe Vincent, McDermott, Precious, Jokic, Brogdon, KD, JaMychal Green. I think that's solid. And JaMychal Green I don't love, but you know what you're getting into out of him. 20 minutes or so. LeVert or DeJounte Murray. That's a close one. That's really close. I'll go LeVert, but yeah. 116 likes. Let's go. Yeah, I appreciate the likes, guys. Another minute, and then I'm going to get out of here. Iggy or McDermott? So right now I'm going to say Iguodala, but there's risk, right? He will be the first one that gets pulled if the game blows out. The absolute first one. Right away, he'll be pulled. McDermott, if Oladipo is out, probably pushes for 30 minutes, and he does have upside if he's hitting his shots. Congrats on the... Thank you, man. I appreciate that. SGA or DeJounte Murray or both? I think SGA is a little safer right now. Right, so SGA is probably the safer option. Murray is just going up and down, right? Thoughts on Osman? Fine. Would be solid if Drummond is out, but I think I would prioritize McGee and then maybe look to like Nance or Dotson next. Vassell or Farrell, I wouldn't play either. I guess Vassell. Are you saving the crowns for anything special? Probably just going for $1 million at this point. So, yeah. Yes, you can play Durant and LeVert in the same lineup. If I'm doing that, though, I would just stack the game. So I would go Durant, I would go LeVert, I would go Jokic, and then I would go Miami value. I want Iguodala. I mean, he's Iguodala. He'll have to do a lot more offensively. He's kind of washed at this point of his career, but they don't have a lot of options. I wouldn't play Wall now. Yogi and Hero or Draymond or Monte Morris? I think the first one, just because Hero has a ton of upside. Would you play LMA and Keldon in the same lineup with SGA? Yeah. So, again, if I'm doing that, then I'm probably just, stacking the game like you are. So, you're going LMA, you're going Keldon, you're going SGA. You can probably get one more stud. So, look to like Durant, the Pacers guy, Steph Curry, and then go value from there. Jokic or Sabonis for GPP. So, Sabonis is going to be a lot more popular. Jokic is going to be low owned. I don't mind going to Jokic. He's going to be a contrarian play tonight, I think, at his price. So if you're trying to get different, Jokic, yes, five Miami guys is playable. All right, guys, I am going to get out of here. Thank you to everyone coming to check out the stream again. We hit over 400 viewers, 127 likes. Thank you guys again. As always, keep an eye on the news. Let's refresh one more time. But really, I think Miami is the team you want exposure to. They have eight players healthy, so all the guys are going to play big minutes. If Drummond is out, you want to look to JaVale McGee. That's where your value is on the slate. McGee if Drummond is out, and the Miami guys. And then you kind of go stars and scrubs, or you can go a couple mid-range guys with the Spurs guys, with Hero, with Olynyk, right? Those are the guys I like in the mid-range. Other than that, I want to get a lot of stars in my lineup. So good luck tonight, guys. Monitor the news. Let's hope for good luck. No injuries, please. No blowouts. None of that stuff would be greatly, greatly appreciated.